Hello and welcome to this special show, Charging India's EV Future. I'm Parikshit Luthra. India is racing towards an electric future with an ambitious target of 30% electric vehicle penetration by 2030. However, the road ahead is charged with challenges including inadequate infrastructure, heavy reliance on battery and critical mineral imports, and non-alignment of policies between the centre and the state. The number of public charging stations has grown fivefold between FY22 and early FY25. As per a report by CareEdge. But the figure is yet to match the scale of EVs. The report says that India has just one public charging station for every 235 vehicles on the road. Over the next half an hour, we will discuss how India can accelerate its readiness when it comes to the charging infrastructure, battery ecosystem, and also align the policy support. Joining us on the program is Siddharth Sikka, co-founder of Battery Smart, Virendra Goyal, head business development and EV charging at Tata Power, and Akshat Bansal, founder and CEO, Static. Thank you very much for joining us. Virendra Goyal, if I can begin with you. When it comes to India's electric vehicle adoption, we are roughly over 7% right now. Even the Niti Aayog has noted that yes, while we have made progress, we are still far off from our 30% electrification goal by 2030. What do you think are the pieces of the puzzle which are lacking as far as the infrastructure is concerned?
Thanks, Parikshit, for having me on the show. If we break down the 7-point-odd percentage penetration, in certain segments, we are doing exceptionally well, like three-wheelers, two-wheeler, where we are seeing very high penetration rate. I think the only segment in which there is a kind of bit of a slowdown is four-wheeler passenger car. But even in that, if we look at the EV car sales of calendar year 24, which was roughly about 98,000 units, and if we look at the car sales happening between January and July this year, we have almost touched the same number. So there is a lot of excitement amongst the buyers. The puzzles which we need to fix is, of course, availability of charging infrastructure comes as one of the critical element. Also, availability of options to the buyers, and which is what, if we see today, why this calendar year we are seeing there is an uptake in passenger vehicle sales. It's because today consumer has many more options. And the price difference between an ICE vehicle and EV is continuously reducing. There are more and more EV vehicles on the road, which is giving a lot more confidence to the new buyers. I think all put together, we will certainly be moving towards 30% penetration target by 2030. There is a beautiful scheme which we recently launched in the form of PME Drive, which covers it is a comprehensive scheme which covers from demand side to EV charging to everything. So I think the puzzles are there. It is just getting fixed.
You know, I would also quickly like to ask you that what would be your target in terms of market share and the number of charging stations you would like to have in the next 3 years? The reason why I'm asking you this, because there was a report recently which said that India needs at least 3.9 million EV charging stations by 2030.
See, we already have about 5,500 public charging points plus about 1,200 bus charging points. Plus, if we look at, we have very high penetration of home chargers in the country, and Tata Power has installed about 150,000 home chargers already. So we are looking at installing about 7.5 lakh home chargers in next 5 years, making these public charging, semi-public charging station to about 10,000, and buses, trucks would go as the penetration happens. I think when we
Right.
look at public charging numbers, we are not factoring the home charging installations which are being done. And India has seen very high penetration of home charging, which is what is actually enabling the adoption of e-mobility. Various reports from
Right.
OEMs, they say approximately 90% charging happens at home, and there are many users who never go to a public charging station. So given the
Right.
ease and the kind of service which we have created for, and it is so seamless. You book a car, we come to your home and we install a home charger. So once you get back in the evening with
Okay.
your car, you can charge. So it's
Mr. Goyal,
very
I'm going to come back to you. Let me also
seamless.
get in. Right. Let me also get in our other panelist, Akshat Bansal. Akshat, Static has been deploying, and they've deployed over 8,000 chargers across 70 plus cities, and you're aiming for 20,000 by 2026. But do you feel that having more fast chargers is the answer? Currently, you've got 30 kilowatt hour chargers, 60 kilowatt hour chargers, 150 kilowatt hour chargers. But what Tesla has shown us in India now, in Delhi and Mumbai, is superchargers, which are 250 kilowatt hour, and they can charge your car to about 267 kilometers or 270 kilometers in about 15 minutes. Companies like Xiaomi and some of the Chinese car makers are displaying technology that can give you 600 or 700 kilometers of range in about 15 minutes. Do you think that is something that the Indian government must work with industry players to offer to the customer?
Right. No, first of all, thanks a lot, Parikshit, for having me on the show. I wanted to point out, first of all, that we were the ones who helped Tesla build these stations in Delhi. And what we realize, given our experience in this market, is obviously fast charging is the way to go. But then it is also a combination of the OEM being able to support it and the grid that is available. So even though fast charging is the way forward, and as a company, that is what we're looking to build, there are a lot more challenges that needs to be solved for it, majorly in the back-end power infra space, which is not adequate at a lot of locations. And even though charging will be in all the parking, not every parking charger could be a fast charger. So you need to carefully build that out.
Right, that indeed is important. Let me also get in Siddharth Sikka, co-founder of Battery Smart. Now, Siddharth, battery swapping is a model that is popular in several countries. But how important is it from an Indian point of view? And also, we've been toying with the idea of a battery swapping policy and a standardization across the board. How much success have we achieved with that policy, and what kind of a nudge do we need from the government?
Thank you, Parikshit, for having me. When we talk about making electric vehicles mainstream, I think two big barriers always come up. One is the affordability, and then there is uptime. Battery swapping directly solves both of these barriers. When you remove battery ownership from the purchase equation, you bring down the upfront cost of any electric vehicle down by as much as 40%. Now, this is very transformative for a commercial driver, fleet operator, right? Because they have to be on the road 24/7. Swapping actually means that you are never stuck waiting for charging. For 2 and 3 wheelers commercial driver, that would make up to, I think, 80% of all the vehicles sold in India. This is very critical. For them, time is money. This also takes the range anxiety out of the picture entirely. A driver knows whenever their battery is low, the station nearby, they can get a fully charged battery under 2 minutes. So this is uninterrupted operations. At Battery Smart, we have a network of more than 1,600 swapping stations. We have shown that this model works at scale, works in real-world conditions, deployed about 2.5 lakh batteries and doing about 4 million swaps every month. So what we have done is our approach is built for speed. We have collaborated with the local entrepreneurs in a lot of places. We have also collaborated with the local bodies. There is a lot of support from the government as far as battery swapping is concerned. course, there is
Right.
a lot of talk around policy as well. I can talk about some of the things that government should be doing, could be doing, right, to make this more mainstream. One of that is definitely GST. If you talk about GST, electric vehicles are taxed at 5%. But if you separate the battery, it suddenly becomes 18%. Now, that same 18% applies to swapping services as well. And any e-rickshaw driver that's earning like 500, 800 rupees is also paying 18% tax, right, which is prohibitive. So I think if we bring the GST and swapping down to 5%, same as EVs, it will immediately cut costs for drivers and push adoption much faster.
Right. Okay. Virendra Goyal, if I can come to you, I'm just reading out a Goldman Sachs report which has said that global average battery prices declined from $153 per kilowatt hour in 2022 to $149 in 2023. And this is projected by Goldman Sachs to fall to $111 by the close of this year, and $80 per kilowatt hour by 2026, which is a 50% drop since 2023, at which level battery electric vehicles would achieve ownership cost parity with gasoline-fueled cars in the US. Now, when it comes to the India scenario, how do you see the battery prices coming down, considering we're importing our cells largely, we're assembling batteries, but if we have to bring the cost of battery down significantly, because this is still the 70% cost of acquiring an EV, how do we bring that down further in the coming years?
See, battery prices are coming down globally, and the same is being seen in India also. And if we look at the price of the vehicle, they are also coming down. Not exactly the rupee value of a car, but if we look at the size of the battery inside the car, that has been constantly going up, which means the range of the vehicle is getting enhanced with every new model. Today we have models which are running to the extent of 500 kilometers in one single charge. So I think globally, as the battery prices keep coming down, in India also the prices will keep reducing. I think it's more of a global dependence which we have, and Government of India is also working on creating local capacities, which we will have to see in years to come.
Right. Now, let me take some final questions with all our panelists. And let me begin with Akshat Bansal, founder and CEO of Statit. Akshat, if I asked you to prioritize one point out of these three, charging infrastructure, battery manufacturing, or policy alignment, what do you think as a country, as an industry and government we need to focus on?
Actually, that's a very difficult question to answer and prioritize just one. I think all the three are really very, very important. It is very important that there's price parity for EVs with the ICE vehicles, and EV battery manufacturing locally helps with that and creating the whole supply chain around it. So I think price parity is the number one thing. And then comes the charging infra, because it's a chicken and egg problem. If you don't have enough charging stations, fueling stations, people would not buy EVs. So that is the second priority, and obviously all the policies need to come together. Government should be an enabler, which it is already acting as one, and there should be enough financing available for EVs and for the charging infra. So I think all three are very, very important for growing this ecosystem.
Right. Let me ask you one more point, Akshat. When it comes to your company, what specific policy actions could actually help startups like yours scale up faster?
Yeah, no, I think we are in the business of building the infra, and we also build the technology, but the infra build out actually really requires a lot of financing, and that the chargers that we build may not be profitable on day one because EVs are also growing slowly. So great financing options from the leading banks and supported by government schemes could be a game changer for startups like us to grow and build out this infra.
Right. Siddharth, coming to you, lack of interoperability. Now, that is something that would hold back battery swapping. How do we overcome this hurdle? And how do you see the government-industry collaboration on this?
Yeah, I think interoperability is something which, of course, a lot of people are talking about, and I don't see this being a factor in battery swapping adoption as such, right? I think there has been a lot of support from the government as far as policy is concerned. One thing which I want to talk about, of course, is that we are really very heavily dependent on imports for critical materials even today, lithium, cobalt, nickel, and that makes us very vulnerable to price swings and supply shocks as far as batteries go. I think we need to work towards energy independence, building strategic partnerships, scaling up recycling of batteries, right, and also eventually probably exploring sourcing domestically. So this is something where I think there is an execution gap as well. We have had schemes like advanced cell chemistry under PLI, which was announced, but the speed of disbursement and on-ground action, that does not match the ambition. So I think closing the gap there between announcement and execution could be key to keep the momentum going, because the opportunity is huge. We need to really get the supply chain, technology, talent, and policy aligned. India, because won't be able to just meet its own demand, right? We can actually be a major exporter in the next decade. So I think that is one area where we can really focus on.
Right. Virender Goyal, final question to you. When it comes to global supply chains, they are all in disarray right now. There is a rare earth restriction imposed by China. And for charging infrastructure, for battery technology, for EV components, we are largely import dependent right now. What are some of the capabilities that we need to develop and the kind of diversification we need to do in terms of imports to future-proof our EV journey?
So Parikshit, yes, we are largely import dependent today, whether it is battery or the critical components inside the charging infrastructure. And the same needs to be, created, developed in the country. So the question which you had asked, Akshit, on the 3 points, my view is that we need a policy, and we need to first address these import dependent activities, the dependence which we have today, and all of us are seeing the rare earth dependence, on which would have impact on the vehicle output. So that dependence will have to reduce by local manufacturing, localizations, which is also a part of many subsidy schemes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Goyal, Siddharth Sikka, Akshat Bansal for joining us. It's been a great discussion on charging up India's EV journey. We're taking a short break, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll get you a special and exclusive conversation with Jayesh Ranjan, Special Chief Secretary, Government of Telangana. On the other side, to discuss the EV policy, which aims to attract $4 billion in private investments by 2030.